everybody, it's Conda here, and welcome to a brand new episode of What's Love's Got to Do With It? This is so I have to firstly apologise for being away for the last couple of weeks. I've been on tour with the Snatch Game. Tia and I, in my defence, we did record a new episode, but then when we recorded it, it didn't upload, and then it just disappeared. So there was no new episode because it just went to I don't know. So Tia and I ended up just having a really beautiful 50-minute chat, which we'll have to do again because I want to have Tia back on the show. So that is why we haven't had a new episode. And this episode is our first one back, and I didn't know who to get, and I was nervous and I was confused, and I was like, you know what, who's the best guest to have? My mum and dad. So this is a very special episode, and I am thrilled to let you experience the chaos and the beauty and the gorgeousness and the just soul-filling, just beautiful humans that are my mum and dad. I'm not going to mess around. I'm just going to get straight into it. So, my friends, we'll be back right after this with my mum and dad. Hello everybody, and welcome to a very special episode of What's Lost Got to Do With It? We are back from the break, and I'm so excited to introduce my special guests, which are my mum and dad!
Yay!
Yay!
Sorry for the delayed response.
No, that's alright.
It's a late in the day.
Yeah.
Yep.
After a long week. End of the week. After a long week. You're looking all glamorous, and we're just straight from work.
I know. I'm just about to go straight to work, so it all works out.
It all works,
But
yes.
just so everyone listening at home knows, so my dad is Michael and my mum is Jonine. I will be referring to them as Michael and Jonine. No, I'm joking. I'm going to call them, it's mum and dad. If you hear a man's voice, it's dad, and if you hear a beautiful lady's voice, it's mum. So that's just for those who are not watching it visually. But I'm so excited to have you on my little podcast, Mum and Dad.
Wow, we're excited.
We're excited too. It was just a shock call to say, Mum, what are you doing? And here we are.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm ringing you up straight away. Why? Didn't get a text response, so then I thought, I'm just going to give you a quick call. What's happening? And then you said, Mum, you're on we're going to do this, so here we go. We haven't had time to prepare or think about it, so
that's the best way to do it.
Go for it.
Yeah, so people know I'm in Canberra at the moment, so that's why I'm not in my usual drag room. But yeah, I messaged Mum today, Mum and Dad, and I was like, do you want to be on the podcast? Because I've been wanting to have you both on for a while, and I have had a couple of weeks off with the Snatch Game tour, and I thought, what a better way to start back in with the pod with my two beautiful parents.
Thank you, mate. We're so glad to be here on this with you. We've been a fan. We've listened to...
well, if you weren't, I'd be very mad.
I'm wearing the Conda
the pin
badge.
I love that. And Dad's got tote bag.
Yeah,
Dad's got the tote bag. We fought over the
pin.
We fought over the pin, but I've got the tote bag.
I love that. And that's a special bag because you brought that to the Snatch Game, and that was signed by all the girls from the first Snatch Game tour, including our dearly departed sister Vivian.
I know, that's so sad.
Yeah.
Yep.
Beautiful.
I know. So that's beautiful. I love that. Mum and Dad, welcome to the podcast. People have asked, because I always talk about you guys on the show, I say I'm raised by new age parents. So you're very open-minded. You've always taught us to follow our hearts and just be the best people that we can be. Do you classify yourself as new age parents?
It was interesting when I heard you say that. I thought, we probably are. I think I'd like to think that we're young in spirit, young in heart, and we are those sort of people that I guess by nature we are open to all sorts of things and love to learn and delve into all sorts of things and learn new things. We're always reading. I know we drive you kids mad with all our latest books and things we're reading and going, oh my God, you got to read The Attractor Factor or you Zero Limits, get onto this. I know we sometimes drive you guys mad because it's...
Well, I think we've always encouraged free thinking and great expression, and I think we've always been those parents that have not chased some sort of old, outdated, either masculine or feminine identity. We've allowed all three of you to just be the people you are, and you're our children and you're our eldest, and we just love you the way you are. I think free thinkers is probably a good way to describe us.
Because
values driven, very much values driven.
Yeah, because you both have always just maintained that to be a good person in this world is just you go out, you be a kind person, and you operate in the best way that you can be, and you also pay your taxes. That was what we got when we leave home. But I love always when you tell me, because when I was conceived, you were doing, was it conceived or in the womb? But you were doing the silver method.
Yeah.
Could you explain to the people what that is?
Okay, I'll have a go, and then Dad can butt in if he wants,
Yeah.
because we're good at talking over the top of
Love
each
that.
other. We're
That's
very good
fair.
at that. And finishing each other's sentences.
We come from a long line of...
Okay, so silver method is really about, I guess in modern day terms, it's really about visualising what you want and how you create what you want in your life.
Yeah.
And we were right into it at that stage when I was pregnant with you, Chris, and I've often thought that those experiences that we were going through then, I honestly feel have impacted you and what you picked up in the womb and picked up from us as a baby, being around, reading, absorbing, all that sort of stuff. I honestly believe, you know, it all soaks in. You absorb all of that stuff, and I think that has driven a lot of your creativity and your drive and your belief in yourself.
Correct.
And you're setting your goals and things to want to go on and achieve what you want to do. And when you've talked about it, and yes, we all have setbacks and challenges. That just goes with the territory. But it's about that belief and the resilience and having a vision of what you want and being able to go out and create it, which is, I think, is what you've done.
Yeah. And because, like, when you told me about that, when I was probably a little bit older, so, you know, it was only probably the last few years that you started talking about that. And it made sense because I felt like I have this, I call it my little power, is that when I go into a certain place, I always attract people. It could be quiet, there's no one around, and then all of a sudden there's an audience or there's people around. And I never really understood what that kind of was, but then I feel like that kind of leans on that manifesting. And it's not for me. I'm just going into get a coffee or whatever, and there could be 0 people around, and all of a sudden the place is busy. So I feel like I'm a good little luck charm. But I've noticed those sort of things, that the ability to manifest. And I think obviously the podcast is about loss and stuff like that, but the ways that you recover from loss and the things that you do in your life. Do you feel that people are in charge of that? Do you feel any advice on what you could pass on to people if they're experiencing a bit of maybe a downtime where work's not going great or they've lost a relationship or something? What would your advice be to people like that?
You know, I think, look, we are all in control of our own lives, and no matter what we think, we all attract both the positive and the negative into our lives, and it's probably based on our mindset. And I think maybe the biggest probably bit of advice would be for people to accept the reality, accept that, and take responsibility for their part. I think we also live in a world where so many people blame everything that goes wrong in their world and in their lives, but no one takes any responsibility for what they have done to create that. And that's also quite a subjective and maybe a subliminal type thing.
Yeah.
But everything that occurs in our lives is a creation from what we think and what we create ourselves. And I think take responsibility, stand up, don't be a soft cock. Just
I love that. We need that on a t-shirt. Don't be a soft cock.
We've always said to all 3 of you, be responsible for yourselves, be good people, and work hard. Again, as you just mentioned previously, pay your taxes and be honest, hardworking, good people. And I think you especially, Chris, have taken that on board. And you've taken responsibility for yourself and the world that you've created. And sometimes we don't always get it right. Mum and I are perfect examples of that. But I think if we're honest with ourselves and we take responsibility and we believe in ourselves, and I think that's probably an essence of silver and some of the other things that we prescribe to is we believe in ourselves. And I think that's something that we've imparted on to all 3 of our most amazing, wonderful, incredibly talented children.
And the good thing about when you're down is it will always be followed by something better. So something good will follow. You will pick up again. And sometimes the down is necessary in order to, or sustaining a loss of some sort helps then get you back on track to then move on to and to create what you do want in your life. And sometimes we don't understand why losses happen. Sometimes things feel unfair. It's just, you just think, why is this happening to me?
Yeah.
But I think it's the ability of being able to acknowledge where you're at and it doesn't feel great, and then try and work through it and keep your mind on where you want to go and what you want to achieve and do. And if you have that mindset, something will follow, something will happen. But I do think also you just have to be patient.
Yeah.
Because things don't always happen quickly and don't always happen in the time frame that what you want.
Yeah.
No.
And the other thing too is that sometimes what seems a loss is actually not a loss. It's actually a positive thing, but you can't see it at the time because you miss out or you dip out on something or something doesn't happen and you think, oh my God, why is this happening to me?
Yeah.
And then further down the track, you realise, geez, I really wanted that to happen, but now I'm actually glad that didn't happen because I think, and I know, Chris, you and I have had this conversation before.
Especially when like drag race, the first time when I didn't get in.
Yep, I said, Chris, not your time.
Yeah.
You're not meant to be doing this.
Yeah.
This is not your time. And whilst it's hugely disappointing and sometimes unexplainable, and you just think you can't fathom, how does this happen? I thought this and then now this. There is sometimes no explanation.
Yeah.
But I feel the universe is leading you down a different path and is saying, that's not for you at this moment. The better timing for this is this. And I think that's just how things go. And that's how I've coped with loss and things in my life. And I try and impart that onto you kids. Because as a mother, it's horrible when I see you miss out or things don't go to plan or whatever. I hate when you're in that space. But as a mother, I feel like it's my duty to try and encourage you to hang in there.
Yeah.
Be resilient. You'll get through it. You will get to the other side. And for whatever reason, it wasn't meant to happen that way.
Yeah.
And it will work itself out.
That's what I've like. I do now. Like I look back, and you've never been the parents that go, everyone gets a medal. You're not that kind of parent, but you go, this is a learning experience for you. Rather than, I think sometimes parents these days to go, oh yeah, everyone has to be, but sometimes, and that's not life. That's not the reality of life. You're not always a winner. You can be a winner in your own world, but you got to feel that experience of not achieving something or not getting something that you want, because otherwise, what's the point? What are you doing? You know what I mean? Because then you don't know when you do achieve something, that feeling of that gratification, and you're like, fuck, that's what it feels like. You know what I mean? And I think you've both been great examples of that. You've had your ups and your downs, and you've always showcased that, you know what, even when it's down and things aren't working, you figure out ways to fix it and make it a positive, which I don't think is commonplace for a lot of families and people, I don't think.
Well, and the other thing too, can I just say, as you're saying that, Chris, sometimes there is no answer.
Yeah.
And that's okay. And I've said to you kids also, sometimes you don't know what to do in the situation you're in. I've been in that many times. My advice to you guys has always been, when you don't know what to do, you just stay in the space of where you're at, in the loss, the challenge, the difficulty, the sadness, the disappointment, whatever it is, stay in that space, just deal with that emotionally, and eventually it will pass. It always passes, and something else better will come.
Yep.
And it may take a bit of time. You will get to the point where you will go, oh, actually, I think not getting on to Drag Race season 1 or whatever it was has probably worked out better for me. I think season 2 might have been better for me, or the timing was better for me. Right now, I'm more prepared. I'm in a better shape for it and all of that sort of thing. And I think that's just how I've approached life. And you always get setbacks. Doesn't matter how good you are or how confident you are or whatever, setbacks will always come and there will always be resistance on your path. But it's your ability to be able to keep going and see that it's either I need to change path, or this is actually, there's a lesson in this for me, or I've got to just keep going.
Yeah.
Or I'm not sure what I need to do, but I'm just going to keep going.
I think that's a big thing. And I think that's where a lot of people really fall over, is when they are faced with that loss or something goes wrong or whatever. The society that we're in, they're very simple. They're very quick to just walk away and just not deal with it.
Yeah.
It's easier to put something under the carpet and then just hide the feeling and just not deal with it.
And there's so many ways to avoid everything now. You can bury your head very easy these days.
And I think, look, Mum and I have never been those people to not deal with things. At times we've probably dealt with things probably slower than what we would like. But at the end, I think we've at least had the courage of our own convictions to want something better in our lives and to realise that things will come to you. You've just got to work at it and keep doing it. And I think for us, celebrating this year 40 years of marriage, and it's not always been a smooth ride, but we've stuck with something and we believe in it. We believe in ourselves. And I think as individuals, I think we believe in our own abilities and what we bring to the table. And I think far too many people just drop the bundle and look out for the next easiest, simple thing and without doing the tough things.
And even as we are in our 60s.
You're looking great for 60, I tell ya.
But we still get up every day. We still have our goals. We still have things we want to achieve. And, we still have personal goals. I still have personal work-related goals and things that I want to achieve and be able to do and contribute to society, learn, do things. And I'm interested in all the things that you guys do. And I think that keeps us young as well, talking to you guys, you and Tim and Amy and your world and what you operate in, your viewpoints and all of that sort of thing. And I know every now and then I piss everybody off where I'm like, say stuff and everyone's like, Mum! But overall,
you do
there's
pretty
some
good.
things that I might have strong opinions on, but overall, I try to listen to and be involved and engaged with what everybody's doing. And I think that's what keeps you young. And we've still got lots of goals and things that we want to achieve.
Yeah, and I see that all the time. And I think the one thing that I feel very honoured, and I know Tim does as well, being a gay kid, but I know Amy does, just being just a regular run-of-the-mill heterosexual. But the fact that two gay boys have found parents like you that have... Because it's not... I don't think you've realised how many people got deserted from their families or got kicked out until you came to Sydney and you saw one of the shows. And my mum and dad, they sat in the bar at Stonewall and they ended up just having a group of all these kids just going, our parents aren't like this, they've never come to Stonewall, what's going on? And you just became the surrogate parent for all these people. And that's where you met your leather daddies. You love your leather daddies.
That still bobs up in our photo feed every now and then. I go, oh, they were really terrific guys.
Yeah, they love, but that open-heartedness, and you've just always just gone like that. Have you both been like that through your whole life? I've only known you 30-something years, but I'm talking about like previous to having children and having us. Because you've been together since you were like teenagers.
Yeah, 16.
16.
I think we've always accepted people for how they are and who they are. And I think we've always...
I can remember when we did ballroom dancing, and Dad and I, that's where we met.
Mum and Dad were ballroom dancers.
And there were some gay people in the ballroom dancing world.
Are you serious? Gay people in ballroom dancing?
I know. It's hard to believe. But these people were a bit older than us. Yeah. And they were like the dancing teachers and things like that. And I can remember going to Shirley Bickley's Friday night dancing class. And then these guys, there was a group of gay guys. And this is in Hilton Park, Western Australia.
It's like...
Being gay would not have been
not
very
easy.
easy.
Yeah.
Not the right area.
And we're talking back in the late 70s, it was probably late 70s.
Yep.
And I can remember these guys coming in and they had their flary tight jeans, pulled up really high, and they had their big platform
heel shoes, and then they had makeup and all of that. And I can remember as young people, we're all looking, going, oh my God, look at these guys, look how they're looking and all that. And they were going out nightclubbing and all of that. Yeah.
I look at those people and I think they would have been stared at, ostracised. They wouldn't have been out. They probably had to go somewhere around the corner and get ready, because you wouldn't leave the house looking like that, because your parents would go absolutely berserk. But there was just no acceptance, and it was just so hard and challenging for these people. And I just think, and you see how people have probably suffered in their life because of that. And then look, when you kids were younger, and Chris, you had friends that you used to bring home and you'd be getting ready for drag and all of that sort of thing, and hearing the stories of people being that their families just wouldn't accept the situation, or they were too fearful to tell their parents, and they said, because no, they won't accept me, I just know, and all of that sort of thing. And I think that's really sad in this day and age, that people would not be accepting or in any day and age, just how you would not accept your own child and all of that is just...
Look, those things, that bigotry, I really struggle with, and I struggle, as you've seen, when you hear stories from amazing young kids who their parents, for whatever reason, won't accept them the way they are. And I've even had some of my peers and colleagues and certain friends over the years almost question how do I react when I know that I've got two gay sons, and it's my job as a parent is to make sure they become good human beings, do all the right things. My job's not to watch what goes on in their bedroom. It's not...
Thank God.
No. But there's so many other people that think that it's their right to be able to choose those paths for their children. And, it really is upsetting. And I think we've got to just encourage people, no matter where they are from, to just love each other and be kind and be nice. And what people do with them, it's none of my business. And I think you are my son. No matter what anyone ever says anything, you're my son, and I will always love you, irrespective of anything. And I think, why can't everyone else be like that? Why can't everyone else just love their children?
It blows my mind.
And love them for who they are.
I'd like to think that Dad, through our acceptance and how we are as a family, has also had a positive influence on some of the people around us because they've seen that level of acceptance, and I think they've learnt and found more acceptance around gay people. And sadly, the people in our generation and older, they've grown up with a lot of prejudice and viewpoints and things like that, and ignorance. Let's just call it's absolute ignorance. And they've had those sort of mindsets. And I think sometimes I just walk away from people now if I'm in conversations and I hear something derogatory being said or something. And you hear a lot less of it, I must say. It's
true.
You hear a lot less, but if I hear it, I'll just walk away. From the conversation, I'll just walk away. I do not want to be around you. Do not talk to me. I'm not going to sit here and hear you make jokes about gay people or things like that. And it's generally men, and
or the odd woman, Chris. I vehemently defend it.
Yeah, where's that
think
political posting mama or whatever her name was?
Horrible.
Yeah, that horrible woman.
Yeah. Nasty, but I think they're fueled. I think they're ultra right wing, ultra religious type zealots that find that there's no place for anyone else in the world other than themselves. And which it is sad. It's a sad indictment on our humanity.
Which ended up being an absolute contradiction to what they believe in anyway, which is why one of my favourite moments was when I started doing drag, you guys were actually like, you're like, look, we don't get it. I think you said, I'll give you a year. If you can figure out how to make money out of it and you feel like it's something you want to do, then, good on you, get out there, but otherwise you're back to university. Hey, look, a year in, I was making money, so we were fine. But the one thing that I always think about is when we didn't know how to tackle Nan and Pop.
Oh, yeah.
We did not
Hang on a tick. I've just broken the news. You're gay, and they're just coming round.
Yeah, and now we're going to tell them you're a cross-dresser. What?
I know, but let's just say we've gone from 0 to 100%.
Yeah,
because we told them that you were gay, and that they were, for the people in their generation, they were very accepting of you guys. And then we took a long time I said, oh my God, they'll never cope with the drag thing. No, we avoided that.
They've embraced it.
And then when we did it, they've embraced it.
Yeah, but could you imagine
that they come to the shows?
Yeah, I know. And the thing that I think about all the time is the fact that Nan was angry at me for not telling her sooner because she just wanted to come and be...
to share it.
Yeah, and she wanted to come and be a little club rat and be at the clubs every night with me, with the shows. And I think that just goes to... And that's the one lesson that I've learned, is that you've always got to give people the opportunity to make their own minds up about something. Yeah. But in doing that, you've got to be honest with yourself. And I think I wasn't, and I understand our trepidations, I get it, but I still felt like a little bit of, reserved, I don't know, it wasn't disappointment, but I still felt an uncomfortability in myself. But if it was now me, I would have been like, Mum and Dad, I'm going down there to tell them if they like it, if they don't. Because you deny, like, I denied Nan, I think about this all the time, like, I denied Nan of that time, and she loves it. Like, she is at this...
Yeah, she absolutely loves it.
But we prejudged her.
Yeah, absolutely.
Look, you're right. I think if you go back in time, we know our parents, we know your grandparents.
Yeah.
We know that there's almost a sense of conservativeness about them. So it's one thing to say, yes, your eldest grandson is gay, but then to say that you're
doing drag.
A drag queen. For us, I think there was this fear of how they were going to react.
Yeah.
And look, I think we got it all wrong from Nan and Pop's point of view, because they have embraced the drag world, I think, especially when it came to RuPaul.
Oh, they loved it. They watched the whole season.
Yeah.
Thank God they're deaf. They don't hear all the things that are said. And also some of the humour goes over their head. Because I'm thinking, I said to them, look, it's a little bit risque. I'm just throwing it out there. Oh, we don't care. We just want to watch it. We just want to see Chris. And they've absolutely loved it.
Can I tell you, you guys were away last week when I did the Snatch Game in Perth. I gave Nan and Pop a shout out. Pop would have been up on his feet if he could, but Nan was up. They put a spotlight on her, and she is like waving to the people. And then when I came out to see them at the end of the show, Nan's I went to the toilet, and I just kept getting photos with people. People love it, and I was like, it has been the sweetest thing. And it's been a joy. And Pop's there as well, like with his walker. And as well, credit to your parents, Dad, Nan and Grandpa. They've taken a bit longer to crack, but they've definitely come.
They're a bit more conservative, a bit more right wing.
Yeah. And Nan's quite religious, but like we've cracked them. Like I don't think they get it, but they are so accepting of it. They even came to my farewell and stuff like that. I don't think the Snatch Game is going to be the place that Nan and Grandpa are going to want to come to.
Hey, Chris, though, I got to say, you know what was hilarious for me? One of the funniest moments was, I think it was the Babs tour, you know, when you did it at the Retchabite. And I got the grandparents dropped off at the front, and I went to park the car, and I said to them all, right, just stay there. Dad was at something else and you were coming later. I said, I just want you to stay there. Don't go anywhere. Just step inside the door, wait for me. I'm just going to go and park the car, and when I've parked, I'll come back with the tickets and I'll get it all sorted out. So they're inside there. They're wandering around. We got walking frames going every which way, and they're trying to get into lifts, and people are telling them. I'm like, oh, my God. Anyway, we get upstairs, go up in the lifts. We get up there, and we start walking towards the door, and this young girl who's on the door looks at us like,
You're in the wrong place.
You're in the wrong place. Yeah. And I'm like, no, because they're going, oh, we're here for the thing. And they go, no. And I said, no, we are. Look, we got the tickets. I'm showing her the tickets and everything. And you could just see her jaw dropping like, what the hell? Who are these people? These elderly people. What are you doing? And I said, no, we're still connected to somebody that's in the show. And she's like, oh, okay. So that was an interesting thing. But they absolutely loved it.
Yeah.
Loved it. Every show they've been to, they've absolutely loved it.
Yeah.
I think that the highlight for me was New Year's Eve.
Oh, when we had the burlesque.
With Barbie, the burlesque and all of that, and the leather daddy guy, and oh my God, the way they were stripping stuff off, there was hardly anything.
And Nan was clapping, and she was like dancing. I was like,
looking, thinking, I am just dying in the seat here, thinking, okay, this is just too much. And I'm watching my dad, 91, and I'm like, he's never seen anything like this in his life, and he's 91 and he's getting to see it all. Yeah. And they loved it.
Yeah.
They absolutely loved it. And then all the people were talking to them and chatting to them. If someone in their 90s and late 80s can make changes and be accepting and do all these things.
Yeah, and anyone can. That's the thing.
Anything is possible.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
And my mum is a very conservative person. Very conservative.
Not anymore. Not anymore. You just wait. Nan's going to be out, like, she's going to be tying herself to trees, protesting for the environment. I can see it now.
No, she's got her Conda bag that she takes shopping, and She's got her photos and things around the place, and she talks to her support workers and says, this is my grandson, Chris, Hannah Conda. And they go, Hannah Conda?
Yeah.
What is your grandson? So she's struck up conversations, and
and
she's got her little lapel pin. She's got her bag.
Did you?
And the other Nana is much the same.
Yeah.
She'll have her support workers coming in and she'll go, oh, you might know the RuPaul thing and you might know my grandson. Oh, and then and Hannah Conda. And I think there's this wonderful sense of pride from all 4 grandparents about you and your craft and how well you achieve things and how well you are doing in your craft. And I think that's a positive thing.
But I have to give them a lot of credit for that as well, because like especially Nan and Grandpa Nan, I used to go down to her house and watch the old movies, and she used to show me all different things about old Hollywood. There was watch the biblical epics and stuff like that, and then I go to Nan and Pop's and we'd watch it like Disney movies and stuff like that, and they fostered a lot of the things that now
Creativity.
I use regularly, and without them I wouldn't have been able to learn that. So secretly they've also contributed to the fact that I am a full-time cross-dresser now. If they want to. But I tell you, the one thing that Nan told me, I was down at Nana Pop's just earlier this year, and Nan told me that one of her cleaners was coming through, and she said, she pointed at a photo, and it was a grayscale photo from one of my early photo shoots.
Yeah.
And the cleaner goes...
I think it was like the Marilyn Monroe.
Yeah, it was like a Marilyn Monroe thing. And the lady goes, wow, Barbara, you are such a beautiful woman. And then Nan goes, that's my grandson. I tell you, that's the one thing our family does have, is a great sense of humour. I don't, we've fostered that. You both...
Mum's got the humour.
Yeah, I think that's where we get it, because you do come out with some real dark ones, Mum, every now and then.
I know, true.
Were you a funny kid, Mum?
It's interesting. I think probably not in my real younger years. I think I started to get funny probably when I was in high school. But I think as I've gotten older and got more along in age, I think I have got funnier.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely. I do see humour in a lot of things. And
She even sees humour in me.
I can be in a serious meeting with something, or like a reasonably business meeting of some description, and then I'll describe something or talk about something, and then I see or hear myself throw some sort of humorous comment in, or see the humour in something and throw it in, and people are like, oh, that's really funny. Yeah. I think I am quick at seeing funny things and seeing the humour, and so it just comes naturally. You don't have to really think about it. It just happens.
Yeah, I think you've definitely passed it on to all 3 of us.
Yeah.
Me and Tim have definitely taken it and really gone with it. However, poor Amy, sometimes I think she's very funny, and she's so smart, and she creates lots of things. Like, she helps Tim and I so much with ideas, but there's sometimes that the humour stops, and it's no-go zone with Amy.
Yeah.
I think that part she's got from me.
Yeah,
so.
yeah, we did. I didn't get that. I've got no filter. It just comes out as you've witnessed.
But I do think when I reflect back on the 3 of you and your upbringing, all of you are extremely creative people and you think in creative ways. And I think you were allowed to sort of operate in that space. I think that's the key to it.
Yeah.
And you loved music, you loved videos, you loved Disney. You had even now, you guys will become so animated when you think about certain movies that you used to watch, and all 3 of you will break into a certain character and start saying lines out of the movie or whatever. And you've all been like that. You've just been very...
Performances.
Natural performers.
Yeah.
You've always been...
I was quite scared. I remember going to ballroom dancing with Tim and Amy when they were doing the dancing. I was just a shy little fat kid sitting next to you, Mum, doing my homework. And I think
I'd say, Chris,
get up, give it a
dancing.
go.
It'll be good for you.
Yeah.
And you're going, no, Mum, don't make me do dancing.
I know. I think I pined for it, but I think I had a lot of stuff to work through myself.
Self-confidence.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that's one thing as well because we're getting close to our end. But that's one thing that you've always encouraged in us, and which I don't think people should shy away from, is the importance of therapy and talking things through and working on yourself. You've always encouraged that within us. Would you be able to like both quickly touch on like your views on therapy and why it's important? Because I think a lot of people get scared of it.
Nothing to be scared of. It's
nothing to be scared of, and I think we are all filled at times with these great barriers, these great walls that don't allow you to express things or to get things out
or to move
forward. And I think some of the best things from therapy are being able to break down those barriers, to allow the vulnerability to come forward and come to the front of things, so that you can actually start to deal with things. And then you deal with things openly and honestly. I think most people in their lives could do with some just genuine, real good therapy, where they can get out of the shells that they're in and get from behind those big walls or the barriers, and actually start to be the people who they want to be and not be fearful of that. And I think it certainly worked for us. And even now in our 60s, we continually work on ourselves. We have a goal that every day I want to be a better person and a better human being than what I was yesterday. And as Mum said earlier, we sit there every morning. We're up most mornings at 5. We'll sit there while we're having our coffee and we'll start writing out our goals, and we'll write out our family goals. But we'll talk about things, and we have great discussion. And I think the more open and honest that you can get into your lives, the better it is. And I think therapy allows that to happen.
And I think it gives you the tools to be able to recognise stuff and be able to work through things. And I think the good thing about that is you can dip in and out. You can go, Dad and I, as Chris, we went through our rough patches in our relationship and personally, and we went to counselling for many years. But I feel like that has been hugely beneficial, not only to Dad and I,
but to you
as
guys.
Individuals, but as a couple, but also as a family unit. We're not perfect, and when we all get together, we all yell and talk over the top of each other and all of that. But, you know, I feel like we've got the ability, even when things aren't great, we've got the ability to be able to reflect and talk and embrace that and try and work through whatever the challenges are. And I think that's just what life is.
Yeah, I think the greatest example of parenting that we can give to the three of you is to, one, respect ourselves and love each other. And no matter how bad anything ever gets, is to be able to openly talk and work through things. And I think that helps us as a family just have a pretty united position with everyone. And I think the more people can do that, the better it is.
I love that.
And I think also being able to laugh at yourself.
Oh, yeah. That's the thing. And that's why I think some people think I'm a bit morbid every now and then, because I just, laugh at the real darkest things. But I'm like, if you can't laugh, what can you do?
Life's pretty fucked if you can't laugh.
But, I know. Tell me about it. But, Mum and Dad, that is the end of our time. I do, because I feel like you've ended on such a beautiful lesson for everyone to take away. Because I have had people ask about therapy and stuff, and they're curious about it, and I think you've just given them such a great answer. If you're feeling like you feel like therapy could be for you, maybe my mum and dad have convinced you. But
I think it's I honestly believe, I think the biggest barrier for people accessing therapy
is the cost.
It can be hugely expensive, and it's hard to find. And also, you've got to find the right counsellor for you.
Yeah. One of our sponsors.
We've all had those experiences where you've gone to one and you're like, oh my God, that's just not helping me at all.
One of our sponsors on this show has been BetterHelp, which alleviates the price of the cost of therapy, but you can also swap your therapist if it's not working. Get onto BetterHelp.
That is good.
This episode is not sponsored by BetterHelp, but if you want to, BetterHelp, maybe it should be. But Mum and Dad, before you go, I've been asking everyone at the end, and I want to keep the tradition going. So, from losses and the things that you've experienced in your life, I want to know from each of you, from the things that you've lost and the things that you've experienced in your life, what are the things that you've found? What is something that you found?
Something that I've found.
Each other.
Yeah.
Oh!
Look, he's a crawler.
I love that.
I reckon he rehearsed that.
Yeah. No, but that's so good. I love it.
think the journey.
Over to you,
I'll go
Dave.
Oh
first.
shit, here we go. The
I-
Collins family keeps going.
We keep going. No, I honestly, I'll be quick, but I think found, honestly, Chris, the journey of self-discovery, counselling, awareness, and reading and looking into things, and realising, goal setting, what you can achieve in your life, honestly, and how you can overcome challenges. Honest to God, if you stick with something and you put your mind to it and you have that ability, you could be moments away from gold.
Yeah,
You
3
just
feet
gotta-
from gold.
You just got to keep going. And that's what I've found. And I've had so many times where you feel like all is lost. And then all of a sudden,
It all comes
something
together.
pops up and it all comes together. So that's something that I have found through my own experiences in life. Don't shy away from the challenges. Just keep going.
Yep.
I love that.
I think from a loss point of view, I think when you
Well,
get...
I found.
Yeah, but because...
Yeah,
it
no,
gets
but
stuck-
yeah, no, it's all comes.
But from that, but I think if you get stuck in a really horrible negative mindset, at times we've all been like
Yeah,
that.
we all have. Yeah,
The thing that really stands out about what you lose is opportunity. And I think as you can continually work on yourself, improve yourself, the opportunities actually are there and they come back to you 100-fold. But you've got to believe it. You've got to be able to take that and grab the bull by the horns. And I think for me, the things that I've found is the more that I feel good about myself, that I love myself, that I love my family, love my wife, I love my children, the better I feel, the more opportunity that comes to me. And I think one of the best things that I could ever do every morning is feel incredibly grateful for the life and the family that I have. And that's the thing that you find.
yeah.
And that's another thing too, gratitude.
Yep.
Being grateful for what you have is a great mindset for attracting more other things into your life.
Yep, gratitude is
the
everything.
start of it.
Yeah. Mum and Dad, that is a beautiful way to finish. Honestly, thank you. I think you've been my favourite guests.
Oh, don't you say that to everybody.
No, I don't. But Mum and Dad, I love you very much. Thank you for
We
joining
love
us.
you too. Thank you so much, Chris.
Thank
No,
Yeah,
thank
Lovely.
you. I think this
inviting
is just a lovely little chat. I really appreciate it so much. So, everybody, I hope you're giving my mum and dad a round of applause wherever you are. But I won't ask you to sprint your socials because you've got lives and I don't want to ruin your lives with all Drag Race fans coming and harassing you.
I think I will leave the socials to you and
Yeah,
Tim.
we can do that for you. But mum and dad, I love you very much. And thank you for
love
being
you,
here.
Love you too.
Love you. All right.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, my friends, we'll be back right after this. Hi, everybody. Welcome back. Oh, my God. I told you, my mum and dad, they are just absolute freaking gems of human beings. Feel healed, and I hope you feel healed with, like, my mum and dad. They just radiate just such love and positivity, and they really just melt my heart. And I hope you've taken something from them. And I think the only thing I'll say is if you're a parent out there and you're struggling with just being the best parent that you can be, I hope that you heard something with what my mum and dad have said. They've always just led with just being kind, good, unconditional, loving parents and just accepting us for how we are and who we are. And all three of us have turned out all right, I suppose. So, so I hope you've taken something from that. But I'm going to leave you on that chat with my mum and dad because it was just really special. So thank you for listening. It's an honour to be back, and thank you for tuning in to What's Lost Got to Do With It. And we'll be back very soon with another episode. But for now, I'm going to leave you to it. Have a great week. Be fantastic. Be the best you that you can be. And I love you. I'll see you soon. Bye.